Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This morning we're not going to do anything really deep. Yesterday, of course, I did my demo for Adobe Fresco, and all through the week we've got a little more complex as the week has progressed. However, I think today I'm just going to keep things simple. Today I'm working on Bristol board. Excuse me. I like Bristol board because it's got a nice tooth to it and I can really get in there and get some details if I like, but I'm using the Koh-i-Noor Progresso woodless pencil. I'm using the Carmine Red variation. So today we're just going to keep it light, really light actually. I'm not looking to do anything major. I just want to do something really simple. Right? Keep things easy if I can. But you know how it goes. I'll fall in love with the piece of artwork and then suddenly, you know, it'll be 4 hours later and I will have completely blasted my day of work, which I don't really want to do. I've got a ton of work today and got some fun activities that will be transpiring later on this evening. Going camping, so that's always fun. Up here in the mountains of North Georgia, camping is just a wonderful thing because the weather's really nice, and you know, we definitely kind of have that with the Appalachian Mountains and the Appalachian Trail. It's just beautiful up here, and of course fall is happening, so evenings are really cool. About in the 50s, humidity's pretty low in the daytime right now. It's actually abnormally, excuse me, abnormally warm. You know, in the daytime, it gets in the 80s, which is kind of weird for here. But either way, it's still beautiful and still a really awesome thing to be, you know, to do. Let's see, I have it up here. Just doing a fox. Kind of sitting, chilling. Today is, of course, Friday. You know. Yesterday I had my classes, which I love. I love to teach. Pretty much everybody was on their game yesterday, which is awesome. It's always nice to have everybody participating. You know, I'm really one to have everybody participate and get something out of it. Of course, it's college, so you're paying for the experience. So it really behooves you to get everything you can out of the experience, of course. You know, I was very fortunate whenever I went to college. Of course, I was a little bit older whenever I went to college, so I took things a little bit, I don't want to say I took things a little bit more seriously, because that's kind of an affront to those who are there currently. You know, I took things seriously as an individual, as I'm sure everybody else did. Of course, there were those that were there just to play, but I was not there to play. I was there to get stuff done, and a lot of other people were too. And, you know, I never want to insult those who are in school to really get something great out of it. So that being said, fox, just kind of chilling. Get that beam that comes down. Kind of level here. Redefine this leg. Anyway, so currently, excuse me, my main work consists of toy design. For those of you who don't know what I do, I'm primarily a toy and plush designer and illustrator, package design, and pretty much whatever anybody else throws at me. You know, I've I've done posters for large events. I've done toys. I've done souvenirs. I've done, apparel. That's where my career started as an apparel artist. Apparel artist, that's kind of the, how do I put it? The apparel artist doesn't get the respect they deserve. And, I say this because A, I was an apparel artist for years, but also B, the amount of creativity that is required of an apparel artist is much greater than I think a lot of people understand. If you look at what they're required to do on a daily basis, coming up with original designs that, have the potential to sell and what people will actually buy, it's challenging. The apparel artist is one of those people that kind of looks at it and you can say, oh, I can just slap something on a shirt and call it a day, but it's much more than that. It has to do with fashion, it has to do with branding, it has to do with understanding your customer base. There's a lot going on, and being able to look at it and have, here, we're going to do this eye over here first. So this little eye comes out, comes over, under, right here, and this comes up and over. The face is kind of turned towards me, so I want to be able to see just a little bit of this. I want this turned up here. Anyway, like I was saying, the apparel artist, especially if you have a company that is successful, they're going to have a lot of clients. So you're going to have to do a lot of things as far as come up with concepts and designs that sell and sell well. The amount of money that's involved in apparel, especially at a retail market, is absolutely astounding. Whenever you have a piece that has the potential to sell 150 to 250 to 300,000 pieces, like say at Walmart or one of those other retail giants, that design can go all over the world. And not only that, but at $2.50 a piece, that's $1 million design. That's at cost. So then you turn around and you take that design and you put it in the retail market at $27 or $20. So then that 500,000 piece design that you just designed, suddenly becomes a very real moneymaker. The guy that I work for, he had been in the apparel industry for years, and he wasn't an artist, even though he claimed to be. He had some skills in terms of drawing. He just never pursued it because, of course, he was a salesman, and he was really good at sales. But what his strength, and whether or not he realizes this or not, his strength really lied with inspiration and inspiring people. For some reason, some people in this world have the ability to inspire you to do greater things. They encourage you, and he also had the ability to pick out, talented people and inspire them. You have managers and then you have leaders, and this guy was definitely somebody that had the ability to lead and inspire you and do greater things. And for that, I commend him. But on the same token, being a person like that, you're very dynamic and people gravitate towards you. And a lot of times you get swept up and sometimes you get lost. And I think at the end of the day, that's probably one of the things that happened, with him. Whenever you start adding money to an equation, it changes people, right? It changes people. And of course, whenever you're also an idea person, you're constantly thinking of ideas, and it's hard, I think, to stay at one place And, you know, having also ADHD, which this person did and still does, it's very challenging. But he inspired me to do greater things, and in the apparel industry, that was great. And the company that I was with, you know, I was with them for almost 11 years. I was with them for 10 and a half years. And I really enjoyed my time with them. It was fantastic. So he was a great guy, always will be, no matter, you know, after I left, he was very upset, you know, said a couple things. And you know what? That's fine. I'm not going to hold it against him, because at the end of the day, if I had left the company and I was the owner of the company, I'd be like, well, screw him. Who does he think he is? But he was a great guy, and still is, I'm sure. So, yeah, I'd never talk bad about him as an individual, or the company for that matter. They were great whenever I was there, and they will always, you know, hold a definite place in my mind and my heart. So this is kind of where I'm at today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pen. How long have I been drawing here? About 10 minutes. Not too bad today. Right? Got our little radio. It's got his little arm that comes up. You know? I'm going to give him some square glasses here. There we go. This comes up, this comes over, here's his cheek. Okay. Here's the shadow. I'm gonna have his little eyebrow come up like this. The other one comes up like this. Here's that arc. Here's the other side of his cheek. The color in the nose. I might not, you know, be honest with you, I don't even know if I want to ink this. I kind of like the roughness. I like it rough. I like this. That arc come down. The arm come up, over. Here's the belly. I'm going to put a little shadow on the bottom. You know what? I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to kind of leave it like this. And I'm just going to... Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Haha! In your face! Oh, I used the wrong pencil sharpener. I crossed the streams! I crossed the streams! Oh my gosh! So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back. I'm going to give a little bit more definition here and there to the fur. Whoops, as I break my pencil. Right. That gives it just a little bit, and I'm not going in and drawing each freaking, you know, in here. I'm going to have that come up, come down. Maybe he's got a little patch of fur that comes up like this. And this patch of fur right here. Got these little, comes up. Here's that little, kind of like raccoons. They've got that here. Right? Here, it's come down. Here. Good. He's got a little shirt on. Okay, so I have this little, since the arm's bent, see how the arm comes down, that form, and comes up like this? It's going to squish these areas right here, so you give a couple little indications of folds. Not overdoing it. You don't want to overdo it. And then I've got the fur that comes here, right? Little hand right here. And that one little thumb comes over like this. He's got his little... I don't want to have this on the same plane. I don't want a tangent right there, so I'm going to bring this down just slightly. Right? To kind of put that in front of this shirt. If I were to put it on the same plane and have that tangent, it would flatten everything out, and I don't want to do that. Little bump right there. He's got a pair of pants on. Right, a shirt. We're going to have his little tail come up. The tail's got some fur coming off. Since he's a fox, I'm going to have that curve up. Right there. Because again, we're talking about opposing. Think about that. Whenever you do stuff like that, think of in terms of opposing. So I've got this really big line right here, this curve, and then I've got another curve completely opposing. So they're like this, right? So I'm going to make this a little bit more. Color these in slightly. And bring it on its side now. I'm just going to color stuff in, kind of chaotic, right? I've got that highlight right here. Darker nose. Kind of goes like this, like this. This. I've got my shadows here. I've got this whole grouping down here, which is in shadow. Right? He's got some black shoes on. Maybe he's got a little indication of some. Got a little fold right here, a little fold right there, a fold right there. Anyway, what I was talking about was apparel, and of course, got into a tangent there. Sorry about that. That's what happens. When I'm drawing, I just start talking. Okay, and he's sitting up against kind of a floofy chair. There's the arm, here comes that, right? This is all going to be in shadow right here, darker. It's going to come here, 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 and then I've got this dark shapes. In terms of creasing, comes like that. Okay. Yeah, so I do a lot of toy designs. Lately, I've been getting into 3D sculpting. I use ZBrush. I don't use Blender. I tried Blender very briefly, and eventually I probably will have to get into Blender because it has to do with manufacturing, and that's kind of where my jam is right now. I'm doing a lot of toy concepts and coming up with the manufacturing models for these concepts, right? Arc that a little bit. You have to understand, mathematics and how a lot of that manufacturing process works, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now in my career. Also, I'm teaching over at the college, so that's what I'm doing. You know what? I want a lamp. Okay, let's do a little lamp right here. Not too much. Because remember, your perspective, I'm kind of looking at them straight on, so I don't want to... There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so do this. Okay. Anyway, one of the things that I really enjoyed about working at my previous gig were the people. The people were, that's ultimately, if you're a people person, even though freelance has its pluses and minuses, one of the big minuses, in my opinion, is the fact that you don't have access to people and the ability to bounce stuff out on others. Now, some people like that because they don't like people. I love people. I love being around them. I love inspiring them. I love encouraging them. I'm a huge encourager. And I just love, yeah, that's much better. I just love being around people, right? Making people laugh, passing by their desk, giving them a little smile. I love being in art departments. In the beginning, I kind of poo-pooed, art departments, because then if you have somebody that is a real turd burger, it becomes an issue because they will detract from your artistic experience in the context of being in the art department, and that sucks. You don't want that, you know. But yeah, I enjoy being in an art department. So if you're a people person, now if you're not a people person and you can't stand people and you're just a loner, then don't go and be in an art department, because, you know, especially if you're negative. You know, being negative, golly, I had one guy that I worked with, he was just so negative all the time. Very hard to deal with. Now, at his heart, I think he had good qualities and he was a good artist, but being negative is nothing that you ever want to have in an art department, right? Morale is huge in an art department. Okay, so this is kind of where I'm at today. I'm not really going in and doing any render. This is just a really quickie. Where are we at? We're about 18 minutes. So I think we're going to keep it at that. I got a ton of work today. I got a ton of work today. Man, that just sounded like an idiot. I'm sorry. Let's color this in a little bit more, because that's darker. Right? Okay. Let's color that in, because that's a shadow. Okay. So that's pretty much all I wanted to do. Okay. Thank you guys for visiting the channel today. Thanks for sticking it out over these last few weeks as I kind of find my way concerning my warm-up drawings. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys visiting and watching. I got a lot of videos on here. Definitely like and subscribe as I attempt to try and grow the channel exponentially and try and finally break through the amortization. Not amortization, the whatever you call that whenever, you know, you make money, where YouTube pays you the dough. I'm trying to break through so eventually, you know, these videos don't cost me anything. Right now they cost time, and of course, as you guys all know, time is money. So I am trying to grow the channel to where they do pay for themselves. You know, I don't want to be one of those YouTubers if that's all they do. I'll never stop working professionally or teaching, so don't worry about that. But I definitely want to grow the channel to where eventually I can make the money it costs to produce these. Anyway, thank you guys for visiting. Once again, we're working on Bristol board using the Koh-i-Noor Progresso Woodless pencil, colored pencil. Fantastic product. Today was just a character sketch. It is Friday. So go out this weekend, you guys. Go and experiment. Go try something new. Draw something small. I mean, this took less than 20 minutes. I think we all have, as I got bugs in my house. It's the issue with living in the mountains. Bugs. Anyway, sorry about that. Definitely, you know, try something new. Try something fun. Experiment. Go outside. Experience life. That's what I'm going to be doing tonight. Just experiencing life and enjoying, you know, enjoying the fact that, you know, I live on this planet and I have the ability to do this, you know, wonderful type of stuff. So, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.